Hi, this is Les from Comfortable Shoes Studio, and this is art making number 31, drawing and painting a person. In this video, I'm starting out by searching out an image from Earth's World on Instagram. They take some really nice street portrait style photos of average everyday people, and if you've ever seen my Instagram or back in the days when I did Flickr, I like drawing your everyday person. Now I'm refilling my water brushes, which I don't end up using in this video. I use these little squeezy bottles with a narrow nozzle, and they are sold. You can get them on Amazon, but these are from Jacquard for doing dyeing and like really precise dyeing of fabric. I'm going to be using my Derwent Inktense watercolor palette. This is a new palette for me. And also I'm using a Dollar Rowney watercolor palette, which is older and I've had for a while. It's okay. It has some nice granulating pigments in it. I'm also using a Pigma Micron to do my lines directly onto the page from the portrait on my computer. I'm having a nice cup of coffee while I'm doing this. So this is sped up by about 15 or 20%. It did take me about 20 minutes or so to do this drawing. So when I'm using pen, I usually start directly with one of the eyes and block those in. So in this case, I'm blocking in the woman's eyeglasses and her nose first. That's kind of where I almost always start, is right in the middle of the face. I know this flies in the face of like traditional portrait drawing and painting, but I've always done this way, and it's just sort of how I've learned how to do it. So I block in the eyes, the nose, and then I start with the lines around the mouth before I start to block that mouth in. So this Pigma Micron is not a regular fine liner. It has a fiber tip, more like a trying to think of the name, like a flare pen. It's a little sturdier than the flare fiber tip, but it allows for a bit more line variation. My buddy Johnny Gamber of Pencil Revolution hooked me up with this pen, and it is a blue-black color that I find really nice for underdrawing. I have since picked up a couple more of these in different colors, and I do use them pretty frequently for portraits and just general like urban drawing. So now I'm getting that hair. She had some fabulous hair, and a little bit of the ear, neck, and there's the chin. She had a very softly defined chin. So I'm obviously not going for, photorealism here. I'm going for a loose, sketchy, kind of capture the person vibe. Um, I'm not interested in like photorealism when I do portraits. I kind of I have really always enjoyed Alice Neal's portraits of people that are unflinchingly honest. And I would rather capture a personality, which, I don't know this woman, I don't know this person at all. So I'm more, like I said, I'm more interested in capturing a personality or the feeling of a place or the person in the place than I am getting something exactly right. I found that when I'm doing portraits, as long as I get the eyes about right and the nose about right, as well as sort of the lift of the corners of the mouth, most people are gonna understand that oh yeah, that's so and so. So that's what I kind of try and capture. Now I'm blocking in the colors, and again, if you've ever watched any of my Draw With Me videos that I've done in the past, I work loosely, I work wet, and it drives traditional watercolor people wild because I'm not doing it right. I don't wait for layers to dry unless I'm trying to do some glazing work and get some super deep darks. I work wet into wet a lot. I really look for how the colors blend together. I really enjoy that. That's part of how I paint. So I'm doing that same thing here. I start with the lightest colors, trying to get some pinks um, into this face and into the hair, um, and just trying to capture that. So Earthswirl tends to take portraits at county fairs and country fairs and things like that. And the people in those portraits tend to have a really sun warmed face. You know, a lot of people aren't wearing sunblock when they go to county fairs. And it shows because there are a lot of sunburns. So a lot of trying to capture some of that sunburnt feeling. Also blocking in some of the color in the background. Yeah, I'm using a variety of colors here. I think these are, for the most part, the Derwent. So one of the things that I do as I'm working on these watercolors, so like my face was super wet, so I start working on the background, and that pulls some of that moisture out of the face. It also allows some of those watercolors to dry a little bit so that I can go back into it with other colors if I want to. And I don't get worked up at the idea of like the colors blending and shifting outside of the lines. I'm not worried about coloring inside the lines. So I am using a Escoda travel brush here. I believe it's a number 12. I do like working with a big fat brush, particularly in these portraits, which again drives the traditional watercolor people wild because I'm not doing it right. This brush comes to a lovely, lovely point, and you can do quite a bit of really good detail work with it. But it also holds a tremendous amount of water and paint, which means I can get a lot of color onto it and work for quite a while. Um, and this woman had really intensely colored hair, so it's kind of apricot colored, super bright in the image. That's another thing I really like about Earthsworld's portraits that they take. It's the colors are very saturated. There's a lot of pinks in there. They really capture that sunburnt look of county fairgoers. If you've never been to a county fair, I recommend it. They're kind of fun. They're not something that, you know, happens a lot anymore. It's not where I'm at. We don't have county fairs, at least in my area. The only one that's left is out in Western Mass, as far as I know. So I'm just going in with the tip of that brush, and I'm adding some detail work here and there. Not much left here. Working with smaller amounts of paint, more intense colors. So I do build up the layers of color. I add more intense color as I go on in the portraits. And I'm moving some of that wet color around. So that's pretty much it. There's not a whole lot more adding in. A few darks here and there. So as I finish up the portrait in the background, I just want to thank you for watching and supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. I do have a few more that I need to do a voiceover on. And as I've said in a couple of videos, I am working on finding the time to do this. I've had some health stuff going on, so I have to take care of that. And just trying to find the time to do this stuff is difficult with work and home life. So thank you for supporting me. I really appreciate it. And I hope you are able to find the time to make art in your day. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.